Okay, good afternoon. It's afternoon. We made it to the afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this special sneak peek at our upcoming 2024 two-day investment seminar. We are delighted. Boy, I tell you, the holidays are coming, at least I do, when we start gearing up for Tampa. And boy, I tell you, what a bang-up event this one is. If there's one event to attend in your lifetime as a VectorVest user, subscriber, or potential subscriber, this is the flagship. This is the one to go to. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to give you a high-level overview. We're not going to do really any instruction today. So that pains me deeply as an instructor not to be able to do much of that. But we will give you a taste of what this event is going to be like, not only from the course content, but just also from experience. Tampa is an event that I've been fortunate enough to participate in now for 21 of the last 23 years by the time we get to Tampa this coming. So it's near and dear to my heart in multiple ways. I've also essentially born and raised in Tampa. And so it's an opportunity for me to get back to my homeland, if you will, but also to spend some wonderful time with you folks. So let's talk a little bit about Tampa. And let's start by talking about avoiding the big mistake. And the big mistake that many folks face, unfortunately, is that you get buried by data. For example, you may have missed out on two of the very best days of the year by worrying about the current macroeconomic climate, conflict in the Middle East and Ukraine, and all of these things, when in fact VectorVest saw this as a great opportunity in the stock market, and hopefully that you have been able to participate in it. But of course, there's even things on the stock level in picking the best stocks that can be avoided in terms of overload. So this event is all about making things simple for you. It's about creating the fix to the big mistake. And the fix is actually quite simple in nature. And at the end of the day, the very best fixes are also simple in practice. And so it's going to be easy to learn and easy to apply. What we got to do to get the fix is we got to get three things right. There's more than one way to grandma's house, and you're going to see a lot of different avenues that can lead someone to grandma's house at this event. But they all circulate around three main concepts. And one of those is knowing when it's the right time to buy stocks. Okay, and so this is a recent example in that timing is everything. In the Jockey Club, which is my trading room that we do here at VectorVest, we bought a slew of stocks 2 days ago and are enjoying a lot of benefit from that, in spite of all of the clouds and haze that were surrounding the stock market at the time. And this graphic depicts that. Where you see the green triangles, those are opportunities to be looking at buying stocks and participating in market rallies and healthy stock market environments, and that's where stocks make their best moves. At the same time, where you see the red triangle up there towards the top, these are times to avoid the stock market, play more defensively, institute protection on your portfolios at the very least. If not, go to cash and avoid downturns altogether. Wait for the next time to buy stocks. And in doing so, your portfolio grows year after year after year, and you don't have to dig out of a 2-year hole that you create for yourself by holding through some of these horrific downturns, right? And so this is the VectorVest culture. This is what it's all about, and this is what we try to provide to you, is the means to accomplish this. Everybody on CNBC that I hear anyway, particularly lately, is that you can't time the market. Well, that's a bunch of you know what, okay? Because we do it like nobody's business. We've been in business here at VectorVest for more than 25 years, and primarily it's a result of two things. One, our ability to time the market and do so very effectively, and two, our ability to provide you with absolutely some of the best stock picking provided by any platform in the marketplace today. So timing is yes, a result of someone's temperament, that we have more than one way to time the market. But really, temperament is a function of the stock picking, that you seek to deploy. In other words, a good market timing signal is all you need to be successful. Then what really is going to move the needle for you, according to who you are the kinds of stocks that you pick. Okay. And so we have the ability, different than anybody else, in that it is flexible. We don't just have a canned set of here's the 10 stocks to buy. We do that intentionally, actually, because everybody's a little bit different. And so what we do is we categorize folks into 4 quadrants. You're going to see that here in a second. But before we get there, these are very wise words from our founder. And that is, good portfolio management starts with picking the right stocks. And what he goes on to say in that chapter is many things. But one of the big takeaways is, it's like fielding a baseball team. You're going to need some guys that can get on base for average. You're going to need some guys that can steal a base every now and then. And you're going to need some sluggers, that can bring everybody home. We can do that in a number of ways. Okay. We can stick to a particular type of investment spectrum, or we can even mix a little bit and have different baskets of stocks that we're trading, right? For example, I trade 3 different portfolios for myself. I have one that's very conservative. It's called retirement services here at VectorVest. It's very prudent and conservative in nature. I also love picking some would say fairly risky stocks, right? And then at the same time, I do a lot of options from time to time when time allows. So I break mine up quite a bit. But all of it can be done according to this analysis that you're going to see here. And the one thing that is going to become evident as we start looking at these indicators in VectorVest is that some of them really become quite mandatory in terms of guaranteeing you more consistency in terms of success in the stocks that you're picking. And one of those is going to be relative value. Okay. Now, relative value is an indicator of price appreciation potential, right? So you say potential compared to what? Well, it's compared to a AAA corporate bond rating. Okay. Which Moody's looks like they've been downgrading a bit here lately, right, to begin with. But more so, it's, would I rather stick my hard-earned nest egg into bonds or stocks, right? And which is likely to give me a better return over, say, a 1 to 3 year time horizon. And what you have with high relative value stocks are stocks that will kick the tar out of bonds. Okay. So what you can see in this, I don't want to go too deep into this quadrant here in this format. I just want to indicate that the common denominator across the top of these 4 squares is that we're looking for high RV. So if we're aggressive or prudent and we're seeking to outperform the stock market, then we need high RV as one of the main components in the stocks that we pick. We better at least be hitting for average there, where the preponderance of our stocks are not only above 1, but well above 1, and the higher the better. Whereas if we're more of a speculator, those guys throw caution to the wind. Largely they're water cooler stocks that some Jay Bird was talking about on CNBC that little to nothing about, those kinds of things. And conservative investors, they're mainly concerned with preservation of capital. So the growth of the capital is not as important as the safety. And so when we layer in the next indicator called relative safety, you can see that that's the emphasis in the bottom left quadrant of conservative. The emphasis is safety. Now, the reason I would say most people actually fall into the prudent category is because you're looking for strong elements of both. So if you go to the top left quadrant of the graphic here, not only do you want the upside potential better than expected bond returns, but you also want to do so in a fairly safe and orderly fashion, right? And so prudent is kind of the cat's meow. Prudent is where most folks really, if you have a long conversation with yourself, you don't have to answer, but if you really do some soul searching, That's a good thing to be looking for, is high safety and high relative value. All right. Now, if you're an aggressive trader, those higher safety ratings are just going to do nothing but put a parachute on your funny car. They're going to slow you down, right? So in the aggressive category there, you can see that the emphasis is on high relative value, and the higher the better. Okay. Speculators, again, just don't really, if you're speculating, that's like the old gold panners out west. You're just sticking an iron pan in the water and sifting through some of the sand, and hopefully you find a gold nugget here or there, right? So that's how you use VectorVest to find winners. And what we're going to end up doing in the show is we're going to be showcasing this in a couple of ways. Not only can we just look for that at the top of Stock Viewer, but we can also sift through the database by way of running searches. So, in VectorVest, we have a tool here, for example. I like to get out of the slides as often as possible, called Unis Search, and there's all different kinds of searches that are in here. Some of them even have my name on it, or some of the other instructors' names here at VectorVest on them, and a lot of them were given to us by subscribers, but they're even broken out into category, like prudent, for example, and there's mine. Okay, but along with some other great searches in here, all of them deserve to be where they are, right here in that prudent category, okay? All right, so then we can run some of these searches and see what kind of stocks are being brought back, right? And we can scroll out here and we can start examining them for RV and RS. Do we have acceptable numbers? Are we prudent? Yep. And if we are, we want to favor stocks that have the higher combinations of RV and RS. Right, so this SMCI, for example, great little stock if you've never heard of it. And they're very much a big partner to NVIDIA and all the other big boys like AMD and Intel, and are working on this whole AI build out, providing a lot of the infrastructure. And there's other great stocks in here, of course, but just one as an example. All right, so with that, the next thing that we're going to do is just kind of lay this out graphically. And so here's the 4 quadrants and a little bit of a graphical depiction on what kind of, by nature of who you are and where you decide to fall in the VectorVest landscape of picking stocks, these are kind of what you might expect in terms of the performances of those stocks on a go-forward basis. So if we start bottom right with speculative, they're going to be pretty wild. There's opportunity to make money there if you get on the right side of these wild swings, but it's traditionally pretty difficult to do. Aggressive, at least you're dealing with upward slope, and so it's a little bit easier to get on those wilder swings. With prudent, things become a whole heck of a lot easier for capital appreciation over the 1 to 3 years. And with conservative, they're generally going to hang right in there. And in many cases, even though it doesn't necessarily indicate that, still at least keep pace, if not slightly outpace the stock market if we're picking the very best conservative ones. So, you can see we're trying to lean people away from doing a lot of speculation. Now, look, you got to live a little bit. If you want to have one speculative pick out of your 20 stocks, go for it, man. This whole notion that you can't have a little bit of fun in the stock market is also flawed. I think everybody's got to have a little bit of fun. You got to live a little bit, okay? You just got to realize what you're dealing with, and you got to realize that the money is largely made in the prudent category, okay? At least the most methodically. There's money to be made in all those categories, actually. We're also going to do a great deal with ETFs. This is going to be the first Tampa 2-day that, over the last 23 years that we've done very much with ETFs at all. So we've got a trading system that we're going to debut. This is a look at some of its performance. And this is over the last several years, including the COVID collapse. And you can see not much damage was done here in that time frame. So it's very steady performance, and it's going to more than triple fixed income assets. And so it's well worth pursuing. The next one should be already on its next leg up here at a pretty big way, actually, just over the last 2-3 days now. So it's a terrific system, and we will be talking an awful lot about it there. Again, I can't teach here. All I can do is, I hate to say it, but sort of entice, because what we want to do is we want you to come to the event, or we are also going to show you a way where you can do this from the comfort of your own home or on the road, even via live stream, okay? You also have the ability to manage your portfolio in minutes. And we will build on these concepts at the show to be sure. We want to think about using dollar-weighted systems. Let's stick with that one for a second. So, this whole idea that you've got to read a lot on position sizing and stuff, this isn't to say that that's not a really good idea at some point. One of the best and easiest ways to control risk is to just put similar dollar amounts into all of your positions. Right. So in other words, if I had a $100,000 portfolio, I'm going to trade 20 stocks, say, that's $5,000 per position. Right. Makes the math is simple there. But it's an even allocation so that you don't have any more risk in one asset versus the other. Some people might have recently lumped their portfolio more into something like NVIDIA, let's say. And largely that's been a good idea for the last couple of weeks until today, right? So if you're sitting on an abnormally large size position in NVIDIA today, while most other people are making money today, you're probably underwater. And so what you want to do is you want to learn how to spread your risk evenly as possible across 10 to 20 stocks, so that, that NVIDIA over time is going to carry your portfolio onto new heights, right? But the other 19 players, the guys hitting for average and the guys stealing a base, even though they're not your slugger, right? They're going to help keep moving all the runners around those bases. Number two, there's the 10 to 20 stock idea, right? And then we should also consider this a little bit of diversification. It's very easy to wrap yourself up into, particularly these days, just the Magnificent Seven. Well, that's all I need to do is just buy. I got to tell you, over the last 3 days, the Magnificent Seven is not where the money has been. You know where the money has been? The money has been in biotechs and small caps. I mean, semis have done well, about half as well. Okay? So, diversification is also helpful. Otherwise, you might find yourself, in a situation where the stock market's performing well and you're not, just like we said earlier. So we advocate for diversification. So if we have, say, a 20 stock portfolio, maybe no more than 2 or 3 in a particular market segment. All right. Now, simple and effective management would continue with things like following a proven market timing signal. So if I just quickly go back, I don't want to do too much, but if I go back here and go to a timing graph, and we broaden this out a little bit. So you've got choices. We've got everything up to the confirm call, starting with the primary wave. And a good landing spot traditionally is this GLB RT kicker. And I'll show you why. All right, so we'll drive back a little bit further. First thing I want you to notice is when these red triangles come in, that's a time to safeguard your portfolio. Whatever that means to you, whether it's going to cash, buying puts, doing collars, selling covered calls at the minimum, whatever, to try to generate cash on what is going to likely be a pretty substantial downturn that's on the way, right? You can see evidence of that here. You can see evidence of that there. You can see evidence of that there. Why sit in stocks through here if you don't have to? Right? What you can do is start buying when these green triangles appear and ride it up, and then just rinse and repeat that process. That way we stay on the right side of the market all the time. Yes, it means for some of you that you can also participate in downside action, by the way. We haven't even gotten to that layer of it. So you could be making money on the way down as opposed to just safeguarding. That's another possibility. It's not as easy to do, but it is possible. And with VectorVest, it's easier than anywhere else. So that's also a possibility there. But market timing drives everything. So a large part of keeping your portfolio making money year after year after year. It's going to be how well you listen. I've got people in my coaching room thought I was crazy going long 2 days ago, and boy, you'd have missed out. I think we're up about 11% in small caps, and so on. I think we've got, 15 or 16 stocks now, and they're all green, Never risk more than 1 to 2% in any single position. Never risk more than 1 to 2% in any single position. So if we're going to have 10 stocks and we've got $10,000 into each stock, don't risk more than $1,000 or $2,000. So you'd use a 10 or a 20% stop loss. Now, we've got some equations and things that we can pass along that very seldom are the numbers that easy, right? So we've got some simple things that we can pass along to help you very simply abide by this. But it's important because, that's where the snowball begins. If that goes really back to the NVIDIA situation. If you're overweight in something, you can end up really causing a lot of trauma on your portfolio. Mm-hmm. All right, and use stop losses. So we're going to talk about some of the best opportunities with stop losses at this event as well. So we tried to pass along a few nuggets, particularly to people who haven't seen VectorVest before, just in kind of setting the stage for what the event is all about. What the event is all about is we're going to be showing you a multitude of systematic ways to attack the stock market. So whether you're aggressive, prudent, conservative, or even a speculator, there is going to be content in this seminar that's going to help guide you into what you need to be looking to do to make money in the stock market. It's something where no matter who you are, we've got a proven way to show you how to do that. It's going to be 2 days, and it's going to be live. You have the opportunity to come and rub elbows with all of us. And if I didn't introduce myself earlier, my name is Steve Chappell, Director of Trading Systems Development here. I'm going to go back to the initial graphic just briefly because I'm going to introduce the team. This little tiny guy over here on the far left, that's Jerry D'Ambrosio, my brother from another mother. I love that guy. He's going to be down there with us, okay? And he's a lot of fun. And not only that, he's very good in the terms of technical analysis. You'll see the presentations that he's going to be delivering. Right next to Jerry is Ray Clark. He heads up the education department here at VectorVest. Next to him, so middle in the back row, is Jim Penna. Jim is our manager of retirement services, and we'll do a bang-up job at this event talking about how to construct and manage and make money, with a retirement-minded portfolio. You have Glenn, our YouTube sensation, Glenn Tompkins, market strategist here at VectorVest, will be with us. He is the the most animated instructor that we have. You're not going to fall asleep on Glenn's watch. I can promise you that. You've got Ron Wheeler in the back row on the right there. And he is an options guru. I've met a lot of great option guys over the course of my last 23 years. I really have. Some of the very best. And Ron is certainly at the top of that list. That's why he's here. Okay. He's really, really good. And he's going to be showing you how to do options paycheck live at this event. And then that's little old me right there. There's one person who didn't make this graphic. He's a late addition and he's very welcome. And I'm sure for some of you could move the needle just a little bit. His name is Stan Heller. Stan Heller will not be in attendance at the event, but he will be telecasting in from Canada to do the NPI discussions. And that's a benefit for all because he's the architect of, largely anyway, putting all of that together. And so it'll be great to have Stan on board. So that's your team, okay? Then in terms of, you can't get a better team than that. I can promise you. That's a complete baseball team. So you got the guys that hit for average, you got the Steelers, and you got the sluggers in there. Now, when we get to the event, morning of day one, it's going to look like this. So there's continental breakfast. We have a welcome and course introduction at 9. At 9:10, we get into what I would call the fingerprint of VectorVest, where it is our core proprietary stock analysis. That's what that discussion is all about, the unlocking secrets to stock analysis. We have a break, then I will get into the art of buying low and selling high. It's something that I've presented here many, many times. People love that one as well. It gets, it's more 30,000 foot view of why we're all here, and what we're trying to accomplish. But it really sets the stage well for what's to come. This one's new at 11:15. It's going to be a simple and effective way to triple fixed income performance. Now that's not going to be with fixed income. So just to clean up the title a little bit, it almost is how to triple fixed income performance using stocks, okay? Or maybe even leveraged ETFs. And then we have lunch that's served, not for you folks at home, unfortunately. Even in the days of Uber Eats, I'm afraid that you're left to fend through your own refrigerator at this point. Afternoon, we have finding the right stocks. That's about getting into that matrix a whole heck of a lot more and giving you guys some ideas on what we think are some of the better opportunities in those segments. There are a handful or a baker's dozen strategies that just tend to perform really well in most every situation that presents itself. So you leave armed with that kind of information there. At 2:30, how to build and manage a retirement portfolio. That's going to be not only on capital appreciation, which is largely all we've talked about so far, but also dividend income and options to produce even more income. The days of the yield premium seemingly are never going to come back. So, but I would have liked to have at least for 1 or 2 years lived in the 11 and 12% yield on stocks arena. That would have been a lot of fun, or maybe not so much fun because of what tends to create those kinds of things. But boy, what a privilege to be able to collect that kind of money on just owning dividends. You just can't do that anymore, and it's not enough to keep up inflation with dividend income alone. So you need options to generate even more. And that's what Jim gets into, is protecting these portfolios with options and also, creating an opportunity through use of the option paycheck, I guess, primarily with Ron, to generate even more income. Situational investing is about recognizing what the market is doing and implementing tactics that are consistent with that market behavior. So what we do there is we kind of run through a cycle. And the cycle is bottom fishing into high momentum, into prudence, into cashing in, into opportunity on the short side with stocks, and then rinse and repeat. That goes back to bottom fishing, back to high momentum, back to prudent, to conservative type stocks, and then going in, cashing in, letting the market come back down, and bottom fishing, high momentum. So the market moves in waves and stages, and that's from market lows to market peaks. And that presentation is about dialing into that. It's about knowing how to recognize those opportunities and then what some of your best choices are when you do that. Then you have your special presentation. We're not going to give away any of the, as you folks know though, the special presentation is usually a big deal. We've usually got a new product or a new service or something really great to talk about. This will be no exception. So don't miss the special presentation. And January 6th, Jerry gets to come in here on a guide to the swing trader's mindset. We're kicking around the idea of a different title here because it goes a little deeper than that title might suggest. Jerry's going to do a really good job on not only laying all of that out, but also giving you some tactics to implement. Okay. In 9:45, that's more tactics, and something that I guess Jerry has decided will be best suited for this event this year round is surfing the reversal waves. So he'll be going through that. Then we have the near perfect indicator. I was going to be doing that, but I am so happy for you folks that Stan Heller is going to be doing all of that for you. He does the best job, and it's not even close. So congratulations, everyone. And then leveraging your option trades with options. That's going to be Ron Wheeler. So that's taking a lot of these ideas that Jerry or even the guys from the prior day have laid out, and then learning how you can even up the ante quite a bit by choosing the right options and how to do it so that you can grow the portfolio faster, okay? And then we have Options Paycheck Live. It's all about generating weekly income, and it's terrific. Ron's going to be laying all that out, and then a path to outperforming fixed income investments just in general. So it's going to be a bang-up event. One of the things that I'll just try to give you some of my insight here. We got people that have been coming to this event every year that I've been. And you might ask, well, is VectorVest that difficult to learn? That's not why they go. They go to the event every year because it does a couple of things. It rekindles the fire that has gone down to a smolder, right? But more important than that, we always here at VectorVest are getting better. There's going to be new content in here that you haven't seen before, in particular this year with ETFs, okay? And a lot of these folks tell me, even though I've seen that presentation 13 times, I didn't get this little point that you guys have been making every single year, because I can remember you've made this point before, but I've been missing it, So they keep coming because they always learn something new every time they go, even if it's the same content. Okay, so it's worth your time. There's just no two ways about it. Going live and in person has huge advantages, in my opinion. It gives you the advantage of, rubbing shoulders with us. We listen, when it's time to go to bed, I'm ready, because I've been talking to folks from the moment I get up, to the moment I hit the door to my hotel room. So there's opportunities not only at the event, but, largely you'll see us around the hotel, restaurant, lounge, that kind of thing. And don't be bashful, come on up and say hello. And if you got some questions, we'll do our best to answer them. But it's decision time. The time is here. This is an easy decision, by the way. This is the easiest one we've ever had. You'll see. All right. You can do it alone, continue to try to do that, or you can do it faster. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe by old Abe Lincoln there. What that means is, look, if you want to make the best out of 2024, then you need to get to this event. It's worth the 2 days to set you up for 250 good ones, So 2 days for 250 days, that's even better than 4 hours for 6, All right. Order now. Save $400 to go in person. It's $95, lowest price ever. So I am a liar, because for the last 10 years, I've been saying you were never going to get a better price than $195. And they have turned me into a liar. It's only $95 to go this year. That's ridiculous. All right. Now, if you don't want to do that, it's free. And I think that's why the prices are now starting to drop, because lots of folks are doing it for free. So there's two places to go. We'll come back to some of the questions here in a second, okay? There's two places to go. VectorVest.com/Tampa. That's for the live and in person. So I'll send that link out now. When you click on it, this will put you out to the website where you can sign up for notice the little tag up here in the top left corner. Also the title, in person, okay? This next one that I'll put in now, stream. This one will take you to a different page. This is if you just want to watch the seminar from the comfort of your own portable device from anywhere on God's green earth. Even on the airplane while you're traveling to your next sales meeting. This is your opportunity right here. Okay. All you got to do is fill this out. And of course, no credit card required for that one. That's pretty cool. It's never going to get better than free. This one I'm sure of. I'm sure of that one, I guess. All right. Thanks for answering the questions in the background there, guys. I really appreciate that. So get to these websites. They are free. I'll go back, or the stream is free. Tampa is $95. I mean, it's going to cost you more to have dinner in the airport. I will say this. That's one thing I didn't cover earlier. This event in Tampa is right at the Marriott airport. It's on property. So like when you fly in, you go down and you collect your bags, you get on the elevator, go up one floor, and you walk down a corridor and you're there. It's super simple. There's no need for a rental car, none of that stuff. And there's plenty of things to do entertainment wise in the evenings. In other words, more food or, cocktails or whatever the case might be. You're in a pretty accessible area there close by, where there's some really good options. And if anybody ever has questions while you're at the event on, listen, one of the very best steakhouses in the world is in Tampa, and a lot of people have never heard of it. Listen, their dessert room is 250 different options of handmade desserts. You cannot work in that restaurant without spending 2 years on the farm. And these servers make like $200,000 a year. So they figure working on a farm for 2 years is worth it. It's called Burn Steakhouse. Okay. Great place just for drinks and dessert, actually. It'll blow your mind. So, there's just a wealth of things that you never know what you might stumble into going to this event, right? Most importantly, guys, I mean it when I say this. If you want to make the most out of next year, then you got to get to this event. This is the one that'll change your life. This is the one that will set you up to make the most of what's possible next year. I'm delighted that us as coaches now have these rooms where we can get in front of people and ease some of the concerns, and so that's what this event can do for you. Like if you're somebody that can't get into these coaching rooms and be with Steve 2 days ago when everybody thought he was crazy buying a whole bunch of stocks, like 16 stocks in a day, right? What is this guy doing? Then you need to get to this event, because then you're going to know when it's the right time to do that. Okay. And you're going to know when it's the wrong time to do that. And you're going to need to know when's the right time to do all of these different things, protecting your portfolio and so on. So this is the event to get to, you guys. Thanks for answering all the questions in the background. I really appreciate that. So I'm not going to go back through them. And we hope to see you guys there. So for Jerry, Stan, Ray, Glenn, Ron, hopefully I didn't miss anyone. I guess myself. We hope to see you there, guys. We really do. We love talking to you guys. We love getting in front of you folks in person when at all possible, and build on these relationships. Okay. So hope to see you there. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you soon. Get to those websites. The one that's free, I mean, what are you waiting on? Just go there right now. If you got to talk the $95 over with your loved one, I get that, but get to the website. Do it now. Okay. These prices are going to go up. They always do. They do every year. And don't be the person that pays $495 at the door. Don't be that person. There's no reason to be that person. See you guys soon. Good luck, guys. See you soon. Yep. Good luck.